Hey guys, this is Railroad Sniper back with another tool review. Now, I know you're gonna be thinking, does this dude only own screwdrivers? And I can assure you that's not the case. But this is another screwdriver set review. In fact, this will probably be the last one for a little bit. I do have a few other screwdrivers, but they're not like a set, you know, or like they are a set, but they're not like a humongous pack of them. So maybe next video will be like some kind of like a wrench or socket set or something like that, you know. Anyway, today's video is on this iFixit Pro Tech Toolkit. It's got 64 bits, unlike the last one's 112. Now, it comes in this nice little tool roll, and there's a little magnetic pad in there that holds bits and screwdrivers. And then there's also some other tools as well for electronics repair. Got your anti-static wrist strap. I'll take that out later and show y'all. Got a suction cup for like phone screens, some spudgers made out of plastic so you don't damage whatever you're prying on. And then there's also some metal pry tools and tweezers and guitar picks. It's guitar picks, you know, also for opening. Spudgers for opening. These are a little more heavy duty. These metal ones right here. Got like a Halberd Spudger, another little plastic spudger. And then you've got these pliers. These are, tweezers. These are regular tweezers, metal tip. These are some bent nose tweezers. They got really fine tips on them. And then these are some reverse tweezers where you actually press them to open them. Some soft tips so you don't damage it. So I think we'll get the bits out of the way first, since you know, those are probably going to be the most repetitive bit of this. So just like the other kit, comes in a nice plastic case. You can see that nice metal backing there. It's probably steel or something. And it's still got those magnets holding the lid on. And the lid also has those little divots where you can stick your parts in when you're not, when you're assembling something, you know. So the driver this bit comes with is the same 4mm driver that came in the Manta. Here you can see it. Still got the nice little end cap with the ball bearings or something. Spins pretty freely. Got the magnet in the tip to hold the bits. Now, one thing that is unique, I'll go over it at the end just to top it all off. It's like a flexible extension. I think that's pretty cool. So let's start with the 1/4 inch to 4mm adapter. Now, just like the last kit, it's got that little piece of metal in there. Put it in there, it's not coming out. It's pretty firm fit. It's still got the same magnetic pickup tool. Let's see if I got my utility knife on me. Oh, and I remembered what the sides of the knife are called. They're called scales. So it appears they're not steel or iron or anything. It's not sticking. Those are probably aluminum, I'd guess. But, you know, see, it's just as strong. Still hold the knife very well. In fact, I almost tried to open it just there. Just that strong. And going back to this, you know, I'm not really sure why they included it. You know, maybe you can use it in complement to another kit, but there's no 1/4 inch like anything in this kit. Like the driver's not 1/4 inch. There's no like 4mm to 1/4 inch adapter. So I'm not really sure why they included that in this kit in particular. Maybe if any of you down in the comments or watching the video have an idea, you can post that. So the sockets that come in this kit are from 2.5mm to 5.5mm. Once again, I'm just going to show the biggest and the smallest one, just like last time. You can see the 5.5. It's really nice. And the 2.5. Thing's tiny. And now these bits are made of the same S2 tool steel that the other ones were made out of. So that's pretty neat. Okay, now this kit does not come with any security hex bits. It's only standard hex bits, and they go from 0.7 up to 5mm. So I'll show you the 5. It's real nice. And they go all the way down to this teeny little 0.7 right here. Look how small that tip is. Oof. Another thing I should probably mention is that all the bits in this, besides from that 1/4 inch to 4mm, they all have a 4mm shank on them to fit into the 4mm bit driver and accessories. Okay, another bit this comes with specialty. Like I said in the last video, used in like coffee machines and such. It's this oval bit. Let me see if I can get you a better look at that oval. You might be able to see it, yeah. It's not perfectly round, is it? And then you've got your spanner bits from number 6, all the way up to number 8. In fact, there's only 2. There's only 6 and 8, so I'll show you both of them. There's the 6. And there's the 8. Pretty nice. Okay. Next up we got our iPhone standoff tool. Like I said, I haven't had a chance to use this, but it's got like this little cross with a, see if I can get it to focus. It's got the cross with the little pin in the middle. There we go, that's focused. Okay. You've got 2 square bits or Robertson bits. You've got number 1 and number 2. There's the number 1. And here's the number 2. Now I really like all the foam these are stored in. It holds them really well. And it looks really high quality. I'm sure it is really high quality. It's even got 2 colors, so you can see blue and the black layer on top. Okay, now you've got a few JIS bits. You've got J000 through J1. Now, like I said in the last video, these are a little different from Phillips. JIS stands for Japanese Industrial Standard, and I'll show you a comparison between the number 1 JIS and the number 1 Phillips in a second, once I get to that. So this is the JIS 000, or J000. See, it's similar to a Phillips, but not quite the same. So here's that JIS number 1. It's the biggest one they include. And here it is next to the Phillips number 1. Let's see if I can... See, it's mainly the flutes where the difference lies, and sometimes the tip is a little different as well. I've got the Phillips on the right, and the JIS on the left. Let's see if I can show you a different angle. Yeah, the flutes are a little different, just a teeny bit different, but it makes all the difference if you're working on like certain electronics or certain like vehicles. Like I've heard some motorcycles use JIS. And it's really important you use that, or else you're just going to strip it out. Now this kit comes with 4 regular Torx, as well as a selection of security Torx. Now the regular Torx ranges from T2 to T5. There's the T2. Never had to work with the Torx that small before, but they've got it if you do need to. Here's the T5. It's a little bit better there in terms of size. Now here's the security tamper resistant Torx. Starts at 6 and goes all the way up to T25 or TR25. So here's the 6. And you can see that little pin in the middle where the security pin goes when you're using it with a fastener, like that. Now you can use the security Torx and regular Torx screws as well. It's just not going to be as strong necessarily as a regular Torx, but you are able to if you're in a pinch or if you just don't have any regular Torx on hand. Honestly, in my experience, it hasn't made much of a difference, but then again, most of the fasteners I work with that are Torx either don't have security, so I can use my big Torx on it, and I do, or they're not that tight, you know. Now this also comes with two of the same I think it's game bits for Nintendo, certain Nintendo consoles. It's like kind of got like a hexalobular thing with some little bits sticking inwards. That's the 3.8, and they also include the 4.5. So it's just a little bigger. Okay, now they have a sim eject tool. Once again, I find that awesome. You don't always have those little sim tools that come with your phone on hand, and they're easy to lose, so keeping one in this, you know, easy to find and organized case is awesome. Now they also have some flathead slotted bits, whatever you want to call them, from number 1 to number 4. That's tiny, that is. It's the number 1. Here's the number 4. It's a bit bigger. Okay, now they have the Y bits from Y000 to Y1. Yeah, this is one of those 3-winged designs. It's not a tri-wing, but it's similar. It's almost more like a Phillips with 3 lobes instead of or 3 flutes instead of a tri-wing, which kind of has 3 wings, which is, you know, where the name comes from. Okay, and that goes from Y000 to Y1, like I said. Here's the Y1. Okay, and they've got 3 pentalobes for iPhones, Apple devices. I've used them on iPhones before. I think they also want some MacBooks, maybe. That goes from P2 to P8. There's the P2. Can't really see the pentalobe on that one, but you should be able to see it on the P8 more easily. Yeah, there you go. See the 5 bits on the star. Okay. And next up is the Phillips, which goes from 000 all the way up to number 2, actually, in this kit. In the other Manta kit, the Phillips in the 4mm size only went up to number 1, and then they went to number 2 for the 1/4 inch. But the number 2 in here works pretty well. I've used it before. That was the 000 I just showed you. And then there's the number 2. Now finally ending the bits in this case are a couple of triangle bits. You might have seen them in Happy Meal toys. Some other stuff of that sort. They go number 2 and number 3. And there's the number 2. See the triangle. And number 3. So just a little bit bigger. Now, I said I was going to end out with the extension, and I will, if I can get it out of the case, that is. It's kind of gotten stuck in there. I don't have any nails to dig it out with. Here we go. Okay. So I'm going to put it, just slots into the bit driver as normal. you can see, flexes. I'm going to put one of these spanner bits on here so you can see it rotating more easily. Now, the extension also has that little metal retention thing in it. Same as the other ones. This one doesn't seem to be as tight as some of the other ones I've used, like in my Manta. But you can see it functions like a regular extension, but when you bend it, it spins as well. Now, I can't say how durable this is, because, you know, flexible extension's obviously going to be a lot less durable than a solid extension, but I know people have surely used them, and on fasteners of this size, they're not really going to be near as tight as on a larger fastener, so I don't think it'll be a problem. Okay, so that's the bits and drivers and stuff. Put that back in its case. Next, we'll go up to the anti-static wrist strap. Now, it's got, you know, your little elastic band with the ground clamp. This one comes with an alligator clip, but if you take the alligator clip off, it's got the thing you can insert into your ground plug on your standard 3-prong outlet, or you can just clip it on the ground if you would prefer. Now, if you haven't seen the 3-prong outlet, or you just need a refresher, or if I just need to show you for the principle, here you go. So you'd stick that prong into that hole right there at the bottom. Okay. So, and then once you've like plugged it in and all, you just strap it around your wrist and you're grounded. So that helps protect your devices from electrostatic discharge or ESD. Let me see if I can wrap this thing up neatly. It just goes in a little pocket right here in your toolkit. Little roll pouch. Okay, next up, the suction cup. Now, I have used this before, but I used it on a cracked screen, so and honestly, it didn't work the best on the cracked screen, but I'm sure it would work a lot better on a, you know, like a fully intact screen. Let me see if I can clamp it down to this. Yeah, so you can see I have it on my laptop here, and it actually has enough power to pick it up right there, and then it snaps off pretty easily. You can either use this little notch here to pry the edge up, or you can just yank on it real hard, or like maybe lift it up like that. Hit the lever. Okay. Next up, you got 3 spudgers. Plastic ones. Now these are all identical, but if you've used these before, you know they wear out. They wear out relatively quickly in my experience, but if you're gentle with them, you know they're going to last longer. So I've got 2 curved tips on them. They're pretty nice, honestly. They're pretty thick. They don't have much flex in them, but they're designed to fail before, say, the plastic on whatever you're fixing fails. So they're really good at non-marring activities. Like, I've never had any of these mar up what I was working on before, I don't believe. Okay. Next, you've got 6 of these little picks, opening picks. See, they're shaped like a guitar pick. You probably could even use them as a guitar pick, honestly. So there's little triangles. They're pretty thin, honestly, which is good for, you know, getting into those tight spaces you need to pry open. And they're really flexible, so they're not gonna break super easily. They're not very brittle. Okay, next up, these reverse tweezers. See, press them to open them and let them go to close. So they're gonna hold whatever you put in their jaws automatically. Now these have soft tips, And I'm sure you can get harder tips for these easily, because since they're soft and they mar up easily, they have little screws in there where you can order replacement tips and replace them as they get damaged. And the reason these have soft tips is so you don't mess up whatever you're working on. You don't gouge into it. I think that's a pretty nice feature. Especially the replacement part, that's awesome. Now here's your little bent nose tweezers. They come with this little protector to hold them together and to protect the tips. Look how fine those tips are. I don't even know. Let me see if it'll focus. I don't know if it will or not. But anyway, you can just see how it's come to a needle. You could easily prick yourself on those if you're not careful. But you can also grab things that are extremely tiny. So that's a plus. Now, you've also got these straight nose. These are more blunt. So they're not near as fragile, but they're still pretty thin. I think, in fact, I might have bent these a little bit. I'm not 100% on that. I think I have bent them a little bit. Or they came bent a little bit, but it's real nice. They can also come with a little tip protector to hold them in place and protect the tips. You've got this needle slash like little pry bar spudger. Let's see if they call it just a regular spudger, you know. It's got a little hook on the end with a flat tip, and it's also got a little point for getting into those little tight spaces. Now these work really well. It's pretty stiff for a plastic spudger. It's not as stiff as those other ones, but I think it would be more durable because the edge is thicker. It would hold up better. You've also got the Halberd Spudger here. They call it a halberd because, well, the blade of the spudger looks like a halberd. And it's also got a little hook on the end. Maybe if you're pulling out like an O-ring or a gasket or something like that. Seems pretty nice. Let's see if they haven't. Yeah, they just call this a spudger, but on their website they call it a Halberd Spudger. You've also got a metal spudger. This thing is awesome. I love it. I use it all the time. It's really durable, really rigid, and it's pretty smooth. You don't have to worry about it marring up stuff too badly, but you definitely want to be more careful with it than you would with the plastic ones. But it'll just work in the situations where the plastic spudger's just flexing way too much. Or if you don't need to worry about marring something up as much. So it's got this little flat blade on the one side, the rounded tip, and a flat blade with a pointed tip on the other side. And it's got a hex handle on it for you to grab it with your fingers. Gives you a little grip compared to a round tip. And you've also got your jimmy, which is another spudger, of course. It's got a decent, it looks pretty thin, but it's thicker than you might think. It's pretty rigid. See, I have to put a decent amount of force on it to bend it over. But this thing's really durable, really nice. You can really get a good grip on it and really, you know, dig in underneath into a gap and pry something up. And with that, that concludes our iFixit Pro Tech Toolkit overview. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later.